Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of The Other Side of Addiction. We've got a little change up here. If you notice, the background is a little different. But before I introduce our guest, I just want to say thank you so much to our sponsor, the Emergo Academy. They're out of Canada. Dave and Susan Kenny are actually my coaches and have been my coaches now for a couple of years. When I took their course to be certified as a crisis and recovery coach, I did not realize at the time how much that coaching was going to help me personally. It has literally changed my life. And you guys have heard me say this before, even with my amputation and the death of my past wife, the coaching that I learned and the things that I learned from Dave and Susan has really, really helped me get through a lot of this. So even if you're not looking at wanting to be a crisis and recovery coach, I still highly recommend getting a hold of Dave and Susan Kenny at emergoacademy.com. Pick their brain, see what they have to offer on their website, because guys, it is really worth it. It's worth it for yourself, and it's worth it for the people that you care about. Because as you change yourself and you get to the point to where you actually love yourself, you actually start spreading a lot more love for the individuals that you do care about. So again, I just want to say just thank you so much to Dave and Susan Kenny at emergoacademy.com for being our sponsor here on The Other Side of Addiction. You guys are amazing. Again, guys, look up Emergo. That's EMERGO Academy.com. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Well, today, as you can see, we're doing a live one here. We're actually at my good friend Steve Wright's coffee shop in West Jordan, Utah, High Point. And I am here with Bryon Birch. And today we're going to be talking about the promise truth of who I was. Now, when I say that, it's talking about Bryon here of who he was. And a lot of us, Bryon, we go through life and we're this certain individual, especially, well, I think it is for everybody, both men and women, but especially for men. We talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but something changes us, right? Something happens to change us to where I think one day we finally get slapped upside the head and we get woken up
Yeah,
and we're like, something's got to freaking change because life isn't going the way I expected it to go. Right. I mean, is that what you meant by, the promised truth of who you was? I mean, just you had that
definitely.
wake up moment.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I lost 20 years. I mean, honestly, I feel like I lost 20 years through that process. Sorry, already
That's okay.
emotional,
That's all
but
right, man.
yeah, I mean, 20 years through that. I mean, waking up now, I go, what happened for my 20s, most of my 30s? Like, who was I? What was I up to? What was that plan? I just don't understand it. I
Yeah.
don't know how you get so lost, but my goal is to get in there with some of these 18, 19-year-old guys. I've got them that work for me and try and, find a new direction, right? Like there's got to be a different way than partying and drinking and wasting your life like that. Getting around good people.
Yeah. And Brian, I think you just said a really true key. It's about getting around the right people,
Yeah.
right? You know, I had people who I thought were really good friends at the time. We all worked together
Yeah.
out at the plant. We used to go all hang out at the bar together and party. We all got together for celebrate the birth of our children and anniversaries and things. We were all together. And then I realized that people who you think are your friends, which they are at your time, but
Yeah.
how true these friends are. When I lost my job due to peeing a dirty UA of 24 years,
Uh-huh.
those people disappeared.
Right.
I did my best to stay in contact with them, but they disappeared.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because God's plan was so much different because now the people that he has put in my life for the past 16 years, holy shit.
Uh-huh.
These people, see, now I'm going to get emotional. These people have helped shape me, helped me open my eyes a lot more,
Right.
helped me realize who I am as an individual, who I can be as an individual. Some have only been here for a blink,
Yeah.
others have been here for a few months. There's still others that have still been with me throughout this whole freaking journey. So
right.
that changes us a ton, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 years for me now has been huge, but if I don't pick this route, right, with you, what's my route?
Yeah.
Today I could go sit at that bar stool like you're just talking about real easy. I mean, the fine line between going back to it is really tough. I'll tell you that right now. It's a tough one. It's been a tough 3 years.
I'm sure it has. And I feel that fight doesn't always have to be there, really. I know it takes time for
Yeah,
anything, right? It didn't take you and I overnight to
yeah,
fall into addiction, right? It was something
right.
that slowly we worked ourselves into until one day we woke up and went, holy
Yeah,
shit, how did I get here?
yeah,
And it takes us, I believe, maybe not as long or twice as long. I don't know, really. It's
yeah,
different for each individual, but to get ourselves out of that,
right.
you know?
And I just am starting to realize I'm just barely starting my recovery. 3 years into it.
Yeah.
Just barely. I mean, touching the key stones on that. But what you went back to is it's one night at a time. You start one night. There's no consequence to this. If I do a line of this drug that someone offered me, I'm still who I am tomorrow. And I'll tell you that's not true. After about 15 years, that is not true. That is not who you are when
Yeah.
you wake up that 15th or 16th year of addiction or 20. Hopefully it doesn't go that far for a lot of people, but because I don't think you'll make 20. A lot of people.
No. No, and some people do, which is
Yeah,
crazy, right? I
yeah,
mean, look at people like Ozzy. Man, partied his butt off for how many
yeah,
years and he lived. I mean, this guy lived a pretty decent life and really lived life to its fullest all the way up. What
right.
was he, 76 when he passed just
Had
recently?
money
But
and had care. For the rest
mhm,
of us, we won't
yeah,
end up like that. I mean, it's a real fine line.
yeah.
Barely saved myself in time.
Yeah, I look at it. It's crazy, like you said. You're going to do that one line, and you think you're going to be the same. Because I did coke here and there a little bit, you know, through construction and traveling and stuff like that. It was just something that was just every once in a great while.
Yeah.
And then when I got here, when I got transferred back to Salt Lake from Kentucky, the responsibility that was on me was just immense, and the
Uh,
stress that was on me. And again, I cannot blame it on that because it's still my own choice, right? It was
right.
still me who chose to go that direction. However, I remember we went to a party and someone came up to me and offered, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been so freaking long since I've done this. So I did it. And I remember that night was the first night, and I don't know how long, where I did not think about work.
Uh,
And I went, man, that was nice. I actually got to enjoy a weekend without stressing out about what I had to do come
right.
Monday and what I needed to take care of. Next thing I knew, I ended up finding out who this guy, his phone number was, and I called him up. And it's like, hey, do you know where I can get it? And he goes, yeah. And I says, okay, can you connect me? And he goes, well, you're already connected. It's me.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh, and it's crazy because we were really good friends. He was my drug dealer, but we were really good friends.
Right.
We used to hang out and not all the
Right.
time do drugs, but we used to hang out and do things all the time. But yeah, before I knew it, man, 8 years
Yeah.
passed every single freaking weekend.
Yeah.
I was in it, and I had lost who I was as an individual, someone who always cared about staying in shape and looking good. I weighed 198 pounds. I couldn't see my toes if I looked down because my belly
Uh-huh.
stuck out so far because all the alcohol I was drinking on the
Right.
weekend. And man, I just remember looking in the mirror so many nights on the weekend, just going, God help me, because I know if I continue to do this, it's not going to
Yeah.
end right.
Right. And it's also glamorized too. I
Yeah,
mean, like you said, for Ozzy Osbourne, that's pretty glamorous. That's fun. That's rock and roll life. But the rest of us, it's a fine line. You're gonna end up homeless or dead,
yeah,
prison, which were that's where I was, I want to say about 12 years ago. Homeless in between hotels. Um, you know, just did 3 out of 4 years in jails, prison. I mean, spend your 20s like that. I just think of how many people though really look at you when you're that age and just already assume you're just worthless and done. Even family.
Yeah, it's that stigma.
Yeah,
And it's hard for family, right? Because
right.
we don't understand, right? When my past wife was going through her alcoholism, I didn't ever look at myself as an addict. I just
Yeah,
I just didn't, because it was like, oh, I only do it 2 days out of 7 days. I'm not an addict, even though I did it for 8 years,
right.
right? But I thought I knew everything there was to know about addiction, and I didn't. I didn't even I didn't even have a clue this
Yeah,
much of it. And it's hard for people on the other side to get it. And we burn those bridges, right? We
yeah,
we take advantage, and we lie, and we manipulate, and
sure.
we do so many bad things, to where I was talking to a beautiful lady on Wednesday when I was up doing a talk at Encompass Health. She came up to me afterwards, and the first thing she did was come up, and she goes, "This is my son."
Uh-huh,
And she showed me a picture of her son. She goes, "He's in jail right now for possession."
uh-huh.
And I gave her a big hug, and I said, "Are you doing okay?" And she goes, "No." She goes, "I'm completely broke.
Yeah,
I've spent all my savings trying to buy him a car. He wrecked it. I bought him another car. He wrecked it. I
yeah,
tried giving him a place to live." She goes, "I just don't know what to do. He's my son."
right.
And you finally get to the point where you have to keep your boundaries, as hard as it is.
Yeah,
Now, I don't have a child. That's a different sandbox. Mine
uh-huh,
was my spouse.
right.
It's a little easier to boot a spouse out. I think sometimes it was hard for me, but I think for others it's easier to do that.
Yeah,
When it comes to your child, especially a mom, I just couldn't imagine what she went through.
right. And I mean, that's the whole point is what are the answers these days? I mean, what do you do with someone that's in it like that? I mean, I don't even know to this day what you could do to me at that point in time either to, hey, this isn't maybe a change of scenario getting out of this state, but I still don't know. And I think that's something that we've got to start looking at too for our community, big time. How do we get them out of that situation right now? But I think we've made a lot of bad turns here as a civilization too. There's a lot of jails, there's a lot of drugs, not a lot of great jobs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go work at Little Caesars or Taco Bell, but I mean, there's not a lot of hope out there and dignity for people. I think that's been hugely lost in America, big time, I would say.
I have to agree with you on
Uh,
this one, 100%. We are the only country that, if someone does prison time in other countries, as soon as their time is done,
yeah,
it's completely wiped off their record,
right.
because they did their time.
Yeah,
Not here in the States.
yeah,
That shit is held over your head the rest of your freaking life. And it's hard, right? Especially nowadays, right? There's a
yeah,
background check for freaking everything. I
right,
mean, I'm getting ready to volunteer up at Encompass, and they told me Wednesday I have to come up and get some paperwork. I have to go have a background check done on me,
right.
just to make sure I can go visit with patients, right? So,
So if you had messed up and had a bad night,
mm,
and got arrested for drugs or whatever, you can't even go help.
I wouldn't be able to go help someone.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to move anywhere, like
No.
it's facing me for years. You can't live anywhere. You can't. I mean, yeah, it's a huge mistake out here.
Yeah.
Huge mistake. And yeah, it's something we've got to find out some answers to. Definitely. And I don't know how you go back those left-hand turns, so do you?
How do you change NASCAR to start doing
Yeah,
right turns instead of left turns, right?
right.
That's a really good question. Uh, I think it's just with what a lot of people are out there doing.
Yeah,
You're just starting your journey, right? Three
yeah.
years into it. I've been doing this for coming up on 5 years. Some other people are just starting their journey. Other people have been in a long time. However, that ball is getting bigger.
Mhm.
There's a lot more people out there that are going, enough's enough.
Right.
It's time for change. And the
Yeah.
only way to make change happen is to get a plethora of people to go, let's make a change
Yeah.
and fight, and not back down, and keep moving forward, because you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Our whole society would be a better place. And gosh, I'm going to bring up my lovely friend Brooke, right? She talks about love all the time. We give more love, more understanding, more, I don't want to say empathy, how about sympathy,
Yeah.
to other individuals, not knowing exactly what they went through in their life.
Yeah.
I think things would change.
Right.
And there is a slight change. A lot of us in the recovery community right now are going, we're starting to see a shift.
Uh-huh.
The needle is starting to go a different direction.
Yeah.
However, there's still a long ways to go. But as long as we're seeing it move,
Yeah. Good
that's
things.
pretty good.
Yeah. I'm glad that you can get in there to go help those people though.
Well, you are too, right? You're doing this show, so you're
Right.
helping.
Yeah. And definitely, but again, like we just talked about, one of those circumstances where, hey, I've gone to give time and money to Boys and Girls Club. I can't do it because of record and
Record.
this and that. And you're talking about, hey, maybe I can't even go up to this building if I would made one bad night. I mean, yeah, something like that's got to change for sure. The jobs you can get, the places you can live, and treating drug abuse too as a felony. I mean, I don't get that either. I don't get criminalizing drug abuse.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, is it the majority of our prison population due to drug possession
it
and stuff?
probably is.
I think somebody told me that once, and
Yeah,
I was in shock. I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
And they're not bringing it into this country.
Mm-mm.
They're getting it somewhere and then selling it out. And, it's almost like, when did they start bringing drugs into this country? Was it on purpose?
My version of it is yes,
Yeah.
it was on purpose.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think our government allowed it
I do
to a
too.
certain point,
I think they pushed
and
it
then it
big time.
just escalated as time
Yeah.
went, you know.
When we talked about it, it was like 2002, 3, 4. War, jobs were tough, economy wasn't doing well. A lot of people, those Oxy 80s, that was just, they hit the street like, who's putting this out here? There's no way a doctor could put 1 million pills of these out onto the streets. Where is all this coming from?
The Sackler family knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, and then it was just game on about that. I think in 2000s, that just really pushed the civilization to kind of a breaking point. The homeless stepped up, increased drug abuse, things weren't going well.
yeah.
And the streets changed, I think, from that point in time.
Yeah, because I believe in the early 90s when the Oxy came out and as time went and they started cracking down on it a little bit, uh, the heroin epidemic freaking just exploded
Right.
because from what I understand, it's the same type of high,
Yeah.
but it's much cheaper and easier to get.
Yeah.
You know,
And that was
so
my experience right
was
there,
on that.
101.
And see, not everybody too, that's I mean, it's like I've said on my show many times, you don't wake up one day and go, you know what? I want to be an addict. That's
Oh,
exactly what I
yeah.
want to do for,
Right.
I want to burn every bridge. I want to screw over everybody that I love and care about. I
Yeah.
want to screw up my life. That sounds like a really good plan.
Burn great jobs, burn
Right.
off. Yeah, I mean, burn everything.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
And some people, I've interviewed people from all over the United States, and some have had frickin' buco monies and
Uh-huh.
memberships at country clubs, and nice fancy cars, big beautiful house, beautiful wife, family,
Yeah,
everything to end up to where they're robbing banks
right.
because they've lost everything and it was due to a back injury or a leg injury or something
Uh-huh.
that the doctor gave them the oxycodone and
Uh-huh.
their life changed. And before they knew it, they were addicted. And,
Yeah,
the one guy that I interviewed, my gosh, I think he was telling me he was buying over two, or was it no, three. He was spending almost $3,000 a week buying oxycodone pills. And some he was taking and some he was selling,
sure.
but he was using pretty much everything too that he's selling, because he was
Yeah.
using that money to go buy more. And yeah, he ended up robbing a bank and then went back and robbed the same bank and got busted.
And
And
that's where, yeah, high school football, injuries, doctors. That was
mhm,
the first drug I ever did. I didn't drink alcohol or go smoke weed. I got handed Loratabs and oxycodone from a doctor,
mhm,
you know, and that high is amazing when you're 17, 18. You take a couple of those Loratabs and you're in history class, high out of your mind.
uh,
So you start chasing that high, right? Once you've already been introduced to that. So I went through that Oxy 80 phase where those were on the streets and everybody was doing those, and then they just disappeared like overnight, right? They like put the capsules on them or something,
yeah.
and heroin was on. Now it's not even heroin.
No, no, it's the fentanyl now,
Yeah,
and the fentanyl's taken so many freaking lives.
yeah,
As we know, we both know someone who lost someone very dear and close to them
right.
because of it, and thousands and thousands of other people. It's the same thing.
On that day of that funeral, I had three I could go to. A high school classmate,
Hmm.
that individual, and a former coworker.
Wow.
I mean, so it's not, you could live through heroin. This stuff you're not living through.
No,
You're not.
because it doesn't take much. One
No,
little teeny grain can take your life, right?
and like we said, who knows what the doses are? They're being made in a swimming pool in
Yeah.
some city we don't know of. So it's bad stuff. It's bad.
Yeah. It's definitely taken too many lives, that's for sure. So, what was your wake up moment for you? You talk about, the promised truth of who you was. I mean, did you just kind of have that aha moment to where you went, what the hell am I doing with my life? And look, you mentioned it earlier,
Yeah.
like a whole through your whole 20s, you just really,
I'd
I guess,
honestly, I'd have 1,000 of those,
okay.
the aha moments. And you just still 3 days later, 3 months later, you're back with those friends or chasing that. So I don't know. It's still, I'd say today's just another day of recovery for me. I'm still learning. I'm still scratching the surface. That's why I'm so emotional about it.
Yeah.
I haven't even really tapped into it, really. I mean, um, I just knew it was about over. I was gonna lose my wife. I haven't married her yet. She's been with me for 50 years, but that was coming to an end. And that was like my last person, you know?
Yeah. That was standing by you.
Yeah.
Well,
And that was about to be it. So she still dealt with the alcohol for years too after all the drug abuse. And it just never ended. God bless her though.
yeah, that takes a huge person. And I'm not saying that because I stood by mine for 9 years
Right.
plus with her
Yeah.
alcoholism and then some sobriety. And then of course when she went back the other direction, I really had to stick to my boundaries on that one because I didn't want to go back to that.
Right.
So I'm not saying it's strong just because I went through it, but it really does. It takes a strong person and a ton of love, right?
Yeah.
The love she must have for you to be able to go, I'm going to stick this through because she had to have had that belief
Right.
that he's going to freaking do it. I know he's going to do it. And that is something that we all hang on to, right? I
Yeah.
mean, our friend, same thing, right? It's
Yeah.
just hanging on and doing the best we can, going, come on, I
Right.
know you can do this. I know you can do this. So good
Yeah.
for you
Yeah.
for finally going, okay, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this, even though you are still fresh. 3 years, a lot of people going, well, 3 years is a long time.
No.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
It's not.
not, because I watched my past wife go 2.5 years and it changed like
Yeah,
that.
it's not a long time. You're fresh.
Yeah.
You're one moment away from going and sitting back at the bar stool. Not kidding you. So yeah, fresh times, good times. I feel like I'm 20 again.
Well, good.
Yeah. Um, my stepson actually said, well, maybe I should drink and smoke and use drugs and then stop and I'll feel good. And I said, don't do that.
That's
Don't.
backwards.
Yeah, you don't want your moment to be like that, but yeah, good times. Things are going well. It's a long journey. It's boring sometimes. So I try to kind of make problems still.
Mhm.
Like like the situation from Jersey Shore, like you're still because there's so many problems in your life, it's hard to say, hey, it's easy. I can let this be easy this time. And I think a lot of drug addicts just struggle with that. Like just let it go, let it be easy, live a boring life, calm it down. I think that's part of it is we're bored, we want some excitement, doing the job thing, like you said, and worrying about the job every night,
Mhm.
your release. So yeah, I mean, a lot of good stuff though is coming out of this, and this is one of those days. So I appreciate you and I appreciate what was the academy?
Oh, Emergo Academy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
appreciate you guys for doing this for me. It's
yeah.
been a little emotional, but like I said, I'm just kind of scratching the surface of why, how, and like how does this happen even? Because I'm still in like awe. It could happen to me. It's definitely could happen to your son, your daughter, it can happen to anybody. Because I was really vigilant that this was gonna happen to me. That was my number one goal. This is not gonna happen. Because I watched it go through with my parents and grandparents and the struggle, and it was just like, why would you repeat it?
Well,
We
again,
did.
we talked about earlier before we started recording about the
Yeah,
links of the chain, right?
yeah.
And I like using that because I feel like it's something that's really strong because people, individuals like yourself who finally go, okay, look, I'm not going to go this route, right?
Mhm.
And then we end up having kids and we don't want our kids to go that route.
Yeah,
So something's got to change. And the only way to change it is to break that freaking link
yeah,
because now we're starting a whole new cycle, right? We have that opportunity, we have that chance. And I was telling someone a couple months ago, we was actually doing a show and actually it was the person that brought it up, my guest. It goes, I have a buddy who's really helped me
mhm,
with my sobriety. And he goes, isn't it freaking great that God gives you another chance?
yeah,
And he says, that hit me so hard. And when he said that, I got thinking about it a lot after the show. And now I've used it in some of my public talks. I'm
right. I
like,
like it too.
isn't it cool that life is not like baseball? We get three strikes and we're freaking out.
Right,
We get as many chances as we can get, hopefully,
right.
without our lives being taken, right?
Yeah,
God gives us a chance after chance after
I
chance
like
after
that.
chance to really continue to go through the heartache, the pain, all the freaking bullshit we have to go through, all the damage that we do until we finally learn that lesson. And once we do, it's like all of a sudden everything just starts changing.
Yeah,
It's so cool that we can change and we can make up for our mistakes any
yeah,
freaking time we want to. It's just that choice,
yeah,
right? As long as we choose to, like you said earlier, this far away at any time, I could go,
yeah,
fuck it.
yeah,
I've had a shitty day today.
yeah,
I'm going to stop by the freaking bar. I'm going to do a couple shots of tequila
yeah,
or Jaeger or whatever. And I'm going to have a few beers. And then before we know it, we're back on that road again.
yeah. Because it was
Or
only one night.
because it was only one night, right?
Yeah,
Because we say that in our head,
yeah.
right? I
It's
can do
only
this.
one
I
more.
can do this.
Yeah,
And then before you know it, those claws have already started digging in
yeah.
you and going, oh, maybe two would be okay,
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
And then that's the thing with alcohol and drugs is to feel better the next day. You gotta go do it again.
Yeah,
Cause you
the hair of the
feel,
dog.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
feeling like crap. I mean, all these drugs have withdrawals. Every single one of them does. Even whatever the doctor's giving you too has the worst withdrawals ever. So be careful what you take.
Yours. And the reason why I'm laughing with that is, when I was having issues with my leg and I was going through so much pain, and I'm one that's always been against prescription drugs.
Yeah,
Now I know, like my grandparents, they had to be on some to help them.
yeah,
I know my mom has and now, but I've been totally against them. And now here I find myself, I'm popping oxycodone like it's coming out of a freaking Pez dispenser
right.
just to try to ease the pain because I was in so
Uh,
much pain. And after I had my amputation, my goal was to go, okay, I have been on so many things
uh-huh.
right now. I'm going to work my ass off to get off of it because I've told myself I don't like it. Now I'm not going to be one of those that fall
Yeah,
into it, right? Which
right,
happens
right.
so easy to so many of us. And I remember I started winging myself off, slowly winging myself off. And I was talking to my buddy one day and he was like, man, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm just freaking irritated, like
Uh-huh.
son of a bitch. And I just
Yeah,
don't know why. And he's like, well, what's going on? I'm like, man, I don't freaking know. There's days, I was in my granddaughter's room because I stay in at my daughter's after rehabilitation. And there was times that they had stuff they had to do and I couldn't go anywhere, right? I couldn't
yeah,
drive. I was missing my leg. I didn't even have my prosthetic kit at the time and feeling like I'm in a cave. And I just remember getting so antsy and everything. And he goes, "Hey, brother, you're going through withdrawals."
Uh-huh.
I'm like, "What?" He
Yeah.
goes, "You're withdrawn."
Yeah.
He goes, "Take it from somebody who did all the freaking drugs you can imagine. I did it all. I did
Yeah.
everything." And he goes, "You were withdrawing."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Is that why I'm so freaking irritated and so agitated?" I mean, because just the little teeniest thing was like, I felt like pulling my hair out. That is the first time I've experienced it. Because when I got off the cocaine,
Yeah.
I felt a little bit of that just for a couple days, but then I
Right.
was good.
Yeah,
But when it came to those pills,
the opioids are
oh
just
my
really
freaking
different.
hell.
And I've heard alcohol's like that too,
Yeah,
but yeah.
alcohol's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in your instance, I mean, commend you. I mean, going through all that, you're a tough man. Appreciate you. And yeah, that's a tough situation because you have to at that situation do those things. So, I mean, that's a tough one where, where how do we solve pain in this country? Because we have to. There's got
Mhm.
to be a way, but safely too. I like the doctors now that I go to, and I get hurt. They go, "You're not going on pain pills, I'll tell you that." They
Right.
seem to have changed from when I was 17, 18, where it was like, you're depressed, you need this, you need anxiety. I mean, being on anxiety medication too is another topic for another day because I was put on that, 18, 19. I remember having that moment going, what is this feeling? And someone told me, dude, you're withdrawing.
Hmm.
You have all this, and I'm going, I'm withdrawing from, it wasn't Xanax. They put me on something else, for anxiety. And I'm going, you withdraw from stuff a doctor gives you. That's how arrogant some of this stuff is, right?
Well, it's arrogant for most everyone because we don't
Yeah.
we don't realize it.
Yeah, and I called the doctor and, oh yeah, you'll have side effects. You can't stop that now. And you're going, wow, that's pretty crazy because,
Hmm.
it wasn't Xanax, it was one of those, but tough deals there when the doctors are helping you too. So
Yeah.
I commend you. I mean, trying to get off that, but there's got to be something for pain. I don't know what it is, but yeah, our
Yeah.
culture's got to find it.
Well, and I think you're seeing a lot of the holistic stuff come back.
Yeah,
It's stuff that our ancestors from thousands of years ago used,
right.
right? A lot of the herbs and different things. And some people may disagree with this. However, I think that's where things have changed, like with the medical marijuana,
Uh-huh.
right? That is a plant God put here on this earth.
Yeah,
Everything we need to help us, God put here for us.
right.
The stuff that is synthetic, that stuff man has made. Man
Yeah,
has made, right? It's
yeah.
where it's chemicals.
Mhm.
And so I think now that a lot of this holistic stuff is starting to come back, I think people are starting to slowly make that shift. It's another one where I'm seeing that needle starting to move the opposite
Well,
direction.
you're kind of known as a crazy person, right? If you want to go around and dance around a fire out in the mountains and do a sound bar
Yeah, right.
and it's like that is the stuff that really touches your soul. I mean, or a sauna or a steam
Yeah.
room or lifting weights out in the mountains. I mean, some of this stuff, yeah, the sound baths I like. I mean, I want to get more into that stuff too, the holistic, because you're known as a mad person, but that's what our people were doing for hundreds of years to get through
Mhm.
the pain of this earth, and they had it pretty tough too.
Yeah, they did, right? Well, they couldn't pick up a phone and call their pharmacy,
You're right.
Hey, I need some oxycodone,
Yeah, my leg's
Yeah,
been kicked by a horse. Like
right?
they
Yeah,
just started working on you back then. What'd they do? Pour whiskey on it? I don't know, but
yeah. Well, and
yeah,
some it was the oils, right? Certain oils or
yeah,
or that crush certain plants up and rub it on you and different things
yeah,
like that. Because, especially the Native Americans, right? I
right,
think the Native Americans were some of the best teachers, in
yeah,
all honesty. At least that's my version of it.
sure,
Because they lived off the earth and they knew that there was a God above, and they knew that everything that they needed was supplied
sure.
for them, right? It was there for them. And they learned certain plants,
Yeah,
and they learned certain oils that could help with healing and different things like that. And I think that's why you're starting to see a lot of this shift come
go
back.
back to that.
And talking about, the sound bath and breath work. I missed one last night because we had our team meeting,
Hmm.
for the summit. But I've missed about the last 3 months. But I tell you what, man, when you're doing that breath work,
Uh-huh.
holy cow. I mean, I asked to share my experience once, and this was after I don't know how many that I've done. And they asked if I would share it. And I said, yeah, absolutely. And everybody was laughing, but I says, this is the first time that I've hallucinated without being on mushrooms,
Oh,
and
really?
everyone's laughing. I'm like, no, I'm dead serious.
Uh-huh.
I was seeing things that I would have never thought that I would see. And it's just because of how much oxygen I'm just bringing into the body.
Uh-huh.
I am just feeding my body a ton of oxygen. And when
You
when
go like
you
past a relaxation
you
point.
yeah, you hit this point, and what's crazy, it's always where the calming down part comes. So
Uh-huh.
basically, it's like my friend Rachel says, you are going to run a marathon laying down for the next hour.
Uh-huh.
And,
Oh,
and you do your
wow.
you're just
Uh-huh.
doing heavy, heavy, heavy breathing. And
Uh-huh.
and it's crazy because when they have you hold your breath, I can hold my breath for a freaking long, long, long time. And those divers that go deep down
Yeah.
with holding their breath, that's how they do it, right? They bring
Uh-huh.
in so much oxygen into their body that they can hold their breath longer.
Oh, wow.
So when they calm everybody down and then they start doing the sound bath, they always do a sound bath afterwards.
Uh-huh.
That's when my hallucinations start coming in. Now
Uh-huh.
I've got my mask over my eyes, and they have you take your headphones off. And sometimes you first have your headphones on and they're playing music. But gosh, that was one of the first experiences I had, Bryon.
Sounds
I kid
great.
you not. I literally felt like I'm in space. And all I can remember is seeing a bright, bright light in the distance. And I realized it was coming at me. And then all of a sudden it got right at me. And it was just bright to where my eyes are already closed, but I felt
Uh-huh.
like I had to close my eyes because it was so bright. And then all of a sudden it was gone.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm looking around and I can see all the stars. I literally felt like I was just floating in
Amazing.
space, and I'm just laying down. And I told myself, I'm like, I wonder if I could bring that light back. And so
Yeah.
I started focusing on that light, and pretty soon that light came back.
Really?
And I was able to move that light with my eyes. I could move my eyes different directions, and the light was moving. And I just remember how focused I was on that and how amazing it felt.
Uh-huh.
And one other time, and some people may say you're woo-hoo, like what you just mentioned a little bit ago,
Yeah.
but Jesus's face came right up to me. I mean, his face was seen like I looked at a picture of him. He was right there in front of me. And I was just like, holy cat, I'm crying, right?
Right.
And even my friend Rachel noticed it. She even come over to me afterwards. She's like,
Uh-huh.
are you okay? I saw the tears running down. They
Uh-huh.
got through my mask. And I said, yeah, I just had this amazing experience where Jesus
Right.
was right there. I had another time where all of a sudden it's like this kaleidoscope. If you ever looked in
Yeah.
the kaleidoscopes when we were kids, remember you'd
Oh,
get into
yeah.
it? It was like that, and all these colors were flashing, and all of a sudden this
Crazy.
lady's face popped up. I don't know who the
Mhm.
lady was. And then she was gone, and then she popped up again, and then she was gone. And I'm just going, okay, what's this message? But again, that's all holistic type stuff.
Yeah.
But the healing that it done for me and did for me,
Sounds like shrooms.
oh, it does sound like shrooms,
Uh-huh.
right? That's
Because
why I
that's the
joked
experience
about
you'd
it.
have on shrooms
Yeah,
is
yeah.
whatever the Egyptian goddess lady comes and visits you at the veil and you only see her pretty eyes. And I remember meeting her one time, the first time I did shrooms, and she told me, you are not on your pattern. You are
Wow.
being an aggressive, egotistical male that's just like they are these days. You're supposed to be soft-hearted, caring, giving, all this crazy stuff, and I didn't listen to her. I met her like 3 times on shrooms.
Holy cow.
Uh-huh.
So the message was trying to come through. You just didn't
Yeah.
listen.
But again, we're raised pretty bullish, you
Yeah.
know. We're not raised to cry for an hour with another man and
Hmm.
and express true feelings. We're meant to hide it. And you've been told that forever. Sit down, shut up since you're a little kid.
Yeah.
Sit down, shut up.
You're not here to be heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 people in a classroom. Sit down, shut up. Everybody just sit down and be quiet. That's what we're told our whole lives. So
Mhm.
don't think it's helping that either.
No.
Telling men they can't have emotions or care about people. I mean, it's a bad standard to set, really.
Yeah, it really is. And we spoke about that, before
Uh-huh.
the show too, about how suicide rate for men is just, it's increased like crazy. And my version of it is exactly that,
Mhm.
right? We're
Yeah,
we're looked at as weak. If we're a man and we're seen crying, we're looked at as weak.
right.
And as a matter of fact, I just talked about this even in the talk I did on Wednesday. And I said that's bullshit.
Yeah,
That is complete bullshit. You know, God gave us all these emotions for a reason,
yeah,
and it's for us to feel them, right? Because how can we feel other emotions if we don't experience a different
yeah,
emotion? And society, and again, it's no fault of our parents and our grandparents and their
right,
parents and so on and so forth. It's just how this is how life has progressed.
right.
But this is where the shift has to start changing because it
Yeah,
is okay. It is okay for us to break down and cry. You know, I went to a men's group about 5, 6 years ago, maybe, yeah, probably about 6 years ago. And we all sat around. It almost started out like an AA meeting.
yeah,
They would have a topic and then everybody would kind of go around and you'd share in different stuff, you know. And we broke off in these groups. There was so many of us, we broke off in groups of four. And I remember being in this house and there's a couple groups in the kitchen and there's some in the hall and there's some in the living room and just wherever we could fit the groups. And I remember somebody was talking. I was in our group and I zoned out. I wasn't listening to what they were saying.
uh-huh,
And I'm looking around and I'm just checking everything out around me and I'm going, I have never ever in my whole life been in a room with this many men and seen this many men cry.
uh-huh,
And these were men from all walks of life.
right.
Some were struggling. I was struggling at the time.
Yeah,
Some who had a shitload of money, businesses that were freaking doing very, very well. Guys who were very happy in their marriage, some not very happy in their marriage. I mean, all walks.
yeah,
And every person in that freaking house had something that they were battling and wanting to get out.
sure.
And what really surprised me is the ones that had money, right? These guys, they could
Yeah,
retire right now if they wanted. They could go do whatever the hell they wanted the rest of their lives and have a blast with life, but how miserable they were.
uh-huh.
And it was so crazy to see that. But that men's group was something that was also amazing and helped me out a lot
Yeah, it sounds like.
because I realized it definitely is okay. It is okay that we show our feelings.
Oh,
And sometimes we have to show it in front of other men, right? To allow
right.
that other man to show their feelings because we're too busy. Our egos, you mentioned a
Yeah,
little earlier, our egos, especially mine back in the days, man, my ego
yeah,
was way up here,
mine
right?
still too.
I've had to, in 16 years of working on myself, I've really had to really push it down. Now, have I conquered it? Oh, hell no. The ego still kicks in every once in a
Yeah,
while and tries to take over. However, now with what I've learned and what I've gone through, I've been able to finally recognize it and go, okay, no, pull yourself back,
right.
right? But it is cool. It is cool to be able to see more men open up.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, you apologize when you first started crying at the beginning of the show, and I'm like, dude, man, it's okay,
I
right?
felt like
Just
that's been my whole life is, you know, you've as a man you really have to hide all your emotions and dumb it down and I couldn't do that. I'm just not one of those people. I carry everything on a sleeve. I'll let you know.
yeah.
You know, but I think yeah, that's why I mainly use drugs and alcohol is to suppress, you know, kind of the world around you. You're not happy with what all the political discourse the last 30 years. Has America been that fun? I mean,
hmm
has it been this great place? I don't know. I don't know how it's ever supposed to be, right? I can tell you what this land probably looked like 200 years ago,
Yeah.
and it didn't look that good either. You know, they had what the United States Army out here, the Mormon militia trying to make their ground. You got Native Americans. I mean, so I don't think this place has ever been that
Conflict
peaceful,
has always been there, huh?
especially in the wild, wild west out here in Utah. I mean, it's like, you
Yeah.
know, and you think about it, we've really held it down. Think about how many people got killed here 160 years ago in this valley, in this state. People just got killed. I mean, very rarely do big incidences happen. We're what stuck in the village, like the kids like to say, you know, or and that was tough too growing up. Like seeing these people doing real well and the economy's not doing good. How do they have Mercedes and nice cars and how are things going real well for them? And I think that's a huge stepping stone too, is just I'm not doing that well. I might as well go hide it with the rest of these other guys. They're not doing very well either. Let's get high together, I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, we flock towards
Yeah,
people that are feeling the same as we do, right?
yeah,
That's why that saying, I don't know who originally said it, but you become what your five friends are,
yeah,
your five closest friends, and that is so true.
yeah,
That is so flipping true. And as I said earlier, about friends who pretty much left my life after I lost my job and the new friends that I've come in, those friends have always been there,
yeah,
no matter what you're going through.
yeah,
I think that's also what we need as human beings, right?
right,
We need to have that connection. We got to have people that we can sit down and we can trust and that we can talk to.
yeah,
And we know it stays with them, right? And sometimes it's just somebody just to listen to us, right? Especially as men.
yeah.
Sometimes we just need
That's what this
somebody to
session was.
listen, right? Yeah. It's just somebody to listen.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because we need it,
yeah,
right? And
definitely.
some of us get really lucky and we find a spouse that does that for us, right?
Yeah,
To where we can just unload and they don't take things personal, right? They
yeah.
allow it. And hopefully it works the other way as well, to where when it's time for them to unload, you can kick back and just listen and let them unload.
It's weird you say that, not taking things personally, right? I
Yeah.
mean, so many of us do. Everything's taken so personally these days, too. You're afraid if you're gonna cry in front of someone. You're afraid if you say something wrong. I mean, the environment now, it's hard to kind of be yourself and say what you want to say because might be condemned for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, good things are happening though. I definitely appreciate you for this hour,
Absolutely.
listening to me, and it's part of my healing process too, whether you know that or not. So
Yeah. Well, we still got a little bit of time. So where is your life at right now? You say you're only in it about 3 years, but where do you
yeah,
feel your life is at right now as far as feeling good? You feel like you're on the right journey, the right path?
yeah, and it goes up and down. I mean, I have a good few months where I'm in the gym and positive and things are good and business is good and happy with the direction of my business and my team and what things are happening, my wife and life and but then there's a few tough months, moving out of a place, moving into a new one, crew's not doing good. So uh when they say every day that you get sober is gonna be easier and easier, we need to stop lying too to each other. It's not gonna be easier and easier every day. 3 years later, you might have the worst day of them all.
It's true.
So,
You can.
yeah, it's just a progress. I think I was one of the people that probably cut myself off too, where people said he's done, there's nothing left for him. I think I probably did that to myself too, where I was like, I'm gonna end up in prison or, you know, especially the way things were going for me. I was kind of running a crew and we were getting into some more heavy, worse stuff and the charges now. I've been sentenced to probably 120 years in prison. Well, charged for 120 years in prison. I've probably been sentenced to about 3 years.
Mm,
So that tells you kind of the discrepancy too on how they treat your life here, where 15 years is just nothing to them, and they'll throw you down the drain for really some of this silly stuff. Like, I mean, getting pulled over in a car and there's a credit card underneath the seat to a girl that was in my car a week ago and getting charged with credit card theft and crazy stuff like that. Like you're
geez.
going 25 years for that. I didn't even know it was under my seat. But it was really easy to write myself off too because so many other people had done it. Um, in the judicial system, I was surprised how easy they just say, here's 3 felony 2s, you're facing 45 years in prison. You're like, wow, they just really would upscale charges on any level to you. And you know, and just so I think I wrote myself off too. I didn't think I'd ever kind of be in a situation where I'm at. I figured my life was over probably 10 years ago. I didn't think there would be really a survival. I thought it, you know, I was just existing really,
Yeah.
barely. So yeah, you kind of write yourself off too, which is sad.
Well, I can see how that would be possible, right? When
Yeah,
society's already written you off.
yeah,
Because, and I know you know this, but this is something that I learned through my past relationship. Once you're in the system, they keep you in the system. They
yeah.
don't want you to get out of the system.
No,
And I think that's where a lot of these extra charges and all this stuff comes from, because they just assume, right? Or again, that's that stigma that that's just who you still are,
yeah,
and again, we all have the capability of changing. We
right.
can all change our lives. Some it's harder to do it because of our past, whatever we did in our past, but there's still that opportunity.
Yeah,
However, society, and especially our judicial system, man, that's a business. It's
right.
all about this.
It's a
And
country club.
and it's a country club. Well
Yeah,
put, because what I watched my past wife go through and some of the stuff that happened, I'm going, how is this possible?
right.
How is it? Are something that I believed in, I no longer believe in
Yeah,
anymore. And I don't like to even use that word believe,
yeah,
but seriously, it is so messed up.
yeah,
It has screwed so many people's lives over,
yeah,
and people can fricking change.
right.
It happens. It's been happening.
Yeah,
There's proof. There's people out there who have done it. It can fricking happen. So why do we have to continue to hold that carrot over somebody's head, right? When,
yeah,
I had a guest on my show who battled with drugs, lived on the streets a long time and all that stuff, and she had a baby. And she was honest with the doctors and the nurses, saying, I used to have this problem.
yeah.
And she said she had her baby, and one of the nurses come in and was looking at her chart and goes, huh, well, we just delivered another drug baby. And she heard her say that. So one of the happiest times in her
Uh,
life, where she just gave birth to a brand new baby that she just adores, and she's been off drugs, she's still being really ridiculed
right.
for it, right?
Yeah,
And I've had other guests come on and say, yeah, anytime if I got pulled over for like speeding or something, it's like my butthole would pucker,
oh,
because it's like,
yeah.
what are they going to try to pin on me, right? Because of my
Or,
past record, even though I've
yeah.
been clean for 6 years, what are they going to try to pin on me? And
And it's
why do
all
we need
maybe
to
a
live like that?
figment of your imagination,
Right.
but because last time you had drugs on you, you went away for a long time. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's a difference between physically assaulting people and hurting people and that type of stuff. That's physical crimes, but a lot of this getting pulled over as a 20-year-old and a bag of weed and a little bag of coke and a thing of Jim Beam. Now the kid needs help now. The three guys in there need help. If you send them to jail, most people say, well, that's a wake up call. They better wake up and get their lives together. It's not going to. One of them's getting a DUI, the other two are getting drug possession. That's on their record. It's done and over. The one doesn't have a driver's license now. Who's going to hire him? So, where we went, where these three guys need help, now we've made them who they are to our community.
Yeah. And we've pushed them more towards it.
Right, we made them villains, we made them
Mhm.
criminals today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've pushed them more towards it. And
Mm.
and I may get some shit off of this. And again, that's what these podcasts, I guess, are about, is speaking mind, and I feel like in the recovery community, it's the same type of way, right? There are not all of them.
Mhm.
I definitely want to make that clear, but there are recovery places out there that's just there for this.
Yeah,
They don't give a shit about the people that are coming through
no,
at all, because it's a revolving ATM for them,
yeah,
and there's got to be a better way.
yeah,
The system is broken. It's
mhm,
been broken for years.
yeah,
Things have to change with the judicial, with how we look at life, because I saw my past wife so many times get booted out of a recovery center for acting like an addict. Well,
uh-huh,
that's all that's in there. You get
yeah,
booted out of a recovery system for acting like an addict because you are an addict
yeah.
at the time, right?
Oh, yeah, for like bad
Bad
behaviors.
behavior or certain thing, right? Because there their mind still hasn't healed enough,
Right.
not even
3
close,
years later.
to start to
Yeah.
start changing it, right?
Yeah.
But yet they get booted out. So what happens when they get booted out? Because I watched this happen to her so many times. Now she feels ashamed.
Yeah.
Now she feels like she's let down me. She's let down herself. She's let down other people.
More guilt.
More guilt. So what happens? Right back to the same shit that got
Right.
them there in the first place, right? So it's a broken record.
Yeah.
It's continuous. It's that circle. It's that cycle. We got to break that cycle
Yeah.
somehow, some way, to change it, to have a place where people can go and where they can. And I'm stuck on this brain thing because that's the training that I've
Yeah.
had through Emergo. And then because we talk about the brain first approach, we don't talk about addictions. We talk about retraining this, right?
Yeah.
And the training that I'm taking now is the same thing. We have to change this because I think 88% of people who battle addictions is because of some type of trauma that they've dealt with in their life. And some of them are so buried, they don't even know what it was.
Yeah.
All they know is they're not feeling right and they just don't want to feel that way anymore. And you mentioned earlier, you're always chasing that first high again.
Yeah.
You never find it.
No.
Right? It's like the first time having sex. You don't ever have that same experience. Even though you have sex the rest of your life, you never experience what sex was like the very first time.
Yeah, the first intimate touching and all that.
Ever.
That's
No,
yeah.
it's something
You
that's
can have great sex after for 20 years, but
but still not have that
because it
same
was
thing.
so odd and bizarre and weird and new to you. So
Yeah. Yeah. So definitely something's got to change.
yeah, with all that, talking about the community and the way things were, and I always talked about as a kid with how much money we really spend on taxes and everywhere. Why is there not more community centers that are built for safe place for kids to go take a history class, play a basketball, learn how to play violin? Why is there not more community centers like that for even older people to go
Absolutely.
learn how to play a violin? I mean, for all the money in this country, why isn't there anything here that's in the cities that's safe for us to go do?
I have an answer for that question. It's because it helps us. They want
Yeah.
us sick.
Yeah.
There are certain individuals that want to keep us sick,
Yeah.
right? Because it's easier to control
Right.
that way, right? I love that idea. I would like to change it up a little bit. Wouldn't it be nice to have these community centers, a place, and even change our schools to where we teach our kids about life?
Yeah.
What did we learn about life in school? I didn't learn shit. I
Nothing.
learned history, math, how to read, how to spell, which is stuff we need,
Right.
right? However, when I went out on my own at age 17
Yeah.
and left my mom and dad's wing, I'm going, oh shit, the bills are in my name now.
Yeah. You don't
Oh
have
crap,
any.
life is coming at me. Oh crap, I didn't make enough money this week to do this. Holy shit. It's where how can we change society, change our schools, or have community centers to help our youth and to help us adults go, here is the way that we can help you through this.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not falling back on something to numb it. Right?
There's
not
places to be involved in. There's other things to go do in this community besides that, where we can, like the olden city days where they probably all met at the park on a Saturday night in Mayberry and had a picnic dinner and
talk about the fish that got away.
yeah, and that is so lost in America now, the aspect of community. I mean, you flip off your own neighbor leaving your driveway
Yeah.
instead of on Saturdays having a barbecue with them. I mean, the community's just really been lost here. I don't think that's helping. I commend all the little league programs and youth programs trying to involve people's time because I think that's a great idea. But yeah, I think the sense of community is not what it was here when I grew up in the 80s and 90s when I was little. I mean, everybody knew each other in Sandy. You stopped at stop signs. And you waved the other one through.
Yeah, instead of doing this way, you were doing this way, right?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
Charles and the family. I wonder what they're up to. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's been lost. We teach a lot of bullish behaviors, a lot of individualistic behaviors. There's not very many one for all anymore, you know. It seems like this nation's ready to leave a lot of people behind and go forward with what they want. And
It's
I
about
think,
ready to explode.
yeah, leaving a lot of people behind, I think, you know, and this train. And we see it on Facebook. You look at it, a lot of people are doing exceptionally well. And the younger youth looks at that. And when you're 20, you want to be on the plane to Paris or be on the boat. And it's a tough reality where it's like, no, you work at Taco Bell tomorrow, 12 to 8, and you have your school the next day, you know. So that's a tough reality, I think, for a lot of young guys, is a lot of pressure on them too, you know. You got to have the career, the house, woman or a spouse or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
whatever your choice is, but you're supposed to be building this house and have things going for you. And I think that's a lot of unpromised dream right
Well,
there.
it's fake happiness, right? They're
Yeah.
selling fake happiness because how many of us feel like I read something the other day that someone said, you know, if I could just find that perfect mate, I'd be happy.
Uh-huh.
Well, why can't you just be happy with where you're at with life right now,
Yeah.
right? Some things it could make our life a little easier,
Yeah.
right? It can make it joyful. But until we become happy with ourselves,
Yeah.
we can't have anything else that is going to change that for us. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's kind of my version of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like um as I was telling somebody too, it's like, am I okay with not having a woman in my life? And I'm like, I am.
Mhm.
Do I need one? No. I can be
Uh,
independent. Do I want one? Oh, hell yes.
yeah.
Hell yes, I want one.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference with that. And
Life
anyway,
is really like that. Life is really tough like that when you're married, have a woman, you think, what's single life like when you're single?
it
When you
sucks.
don't have kids, you wonder what a bunch of kids would be like running around.
Yeah.
When you have kids, you're probably looking at the single guy across the street
What a
going,
lucky son of a
yeah,
bitch.
is he playing poker
See, we're
again?
never happy, right? We
No.
are not ever happy with where life's at right now.
Yeah, and that's a huge mistake, I think, because you said the other day, when you go looking for a million one problems, they're right here. I mean, they are everywhere. I can do that at work all day long. He didn't do that right. That didn't go right. That didn't go right.
Yeah,
What am I doing? Who cares? They're good people. Good things are happening. Life's moving. Go along with life. They messed up. Have a good day.
yeah,
I mean, life goes on. I mean, so yeah, I think that's real critical too, is the pressure on that. Is every day's got to be some big successful day, like Fight Club said, Brad Pitt. We were raised to all be thinking we were going to be rich and famous and happy and successful. And even successful people have their downtimes, downtimes
absolutely.
have success. So yeah, looking for a 1 in a million problems. They're out there. I would just say life's good and try and be happy today for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like these bracelets Brooke and I wear, you know, the OD at AT, and it's just one
Uh,
day at a time,
yeah,
right? They say that a lot in the recovery community. However, I think really this also goes along with every single day of everyone's life,
yeah,
one day at a time,
yeah,
to start wrapping this up, I've gotten to a point, Brian, in my life where I don't even remember sometimes what I did the day before. And the
yeah,
reason why is not that my memory's going, it's just that I have finally said, take my life over, man. You direct it. I'm just gonna go. I'm on the
uh-huh,
path. You just
yeah,
point which direction I go. And doesn't mean trouble still don't come up, right? There's still issues. I like to call them shit balls. Life still throws shit
yeah,
balls at you.
yeah,
You dodge a few, but every once in a while it's just like kids having a snowball fight. Pretty soon you get the
sticks.
one in the ear, you get the one in the face,
Right,
right? It just that's part of life. However, there are certain things, as you know, we can control, and there's certain things we can't. And
yeah,
the ones that we can't, why do we let it crawl up our ass and bug the shit out
Yeah.
of us? Because really, it already stinks. We're
Yeah.
not going to remove the stink. It's going to
Well,
stay there. So if we can't control it, the best we can do is do our best to go, okay, how can I now get this out of my head and just kind of let it go. And for me, at least, since I have done that in my life,
mm,
my stress has completely
right,
dropped. Life seems to just go. Again, I still get the shit balls.
right,
It's always going to happen. However, I can handle the shit balls a lot better than what I did before.
right.
I told you earlier, I went through therapy for 6 months to learn how to control my temper. I mean, since my mid-20s, I have not put my fist through a wall, through a door. I've not thrown anything,
That's
I've
amazing.
not, I've not been in the ER having splinters
Yeah,
taken out or making sure my
right.
hand's not broken, and now it's even so much better to where I'm at today, to where it's just like, all right, what can I learn from this?
Yeah,
Um, not so quick to fly off the handle, because even up to 2 years ago, I was still that way, right? Somebody would say something and I'd be
me
boom,
too.
react.
Mm,
Now it's like, okay, I'm feeling like I want to react, kick back, think on this a little bit, think about it a little bit, give it some time. And once I've been able to now do that, now I'm able to handle it in a much better way, to
yeah,
where I'm not bringing more conflict. Because before, all I did was bring more conflict in my life, not
right.
realizing my actions was going to do that, because my actions were my actions,
Um,
right? So it's really helped me out a ton. And again, I owe it to a lot of my coaching and
yeah,
just
I'm
really
getting coaching right now.
looking at life in the mirror,
Yeah,
right? What's the message in the mirror?
yeah,
So yeah.
absolutely.
What is something, to finish this off, what is something positive, or what am I looking for? We'll just stick with that. Something more positive that you'd like to share with our listeners.
Um, I think a lot of people that are struggling with addiction don't realize how much they love the control. Like you were just talking about, you want to control every part of your life. Well, one way is you can do that is by being a drug addict, right? You can control your dose, you can control your high, your friends, but you can't control your bills, but you don't really care. You can't control your job, um but you'd be surprised how strong you are and how much better you actually feel because I was one of those ones where I didn't feel good drinking. I didn't feel good hungover. I might have felt good a little bit on cocaine, but then 5 minutes later, my ADD, my bipolar, schizophrenia, voices, whatever would come in. Loved that first hit of meth. Same thing, hours of betrayal of the brain. I was just never one of those ones that felt good doing it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that don't feel good on it, don't feel good off of it. I think you just need to give yourself a chance. Give yourself that one chance, give yourself a couple of months and see what you start feeling. I'm emotional as hell now. I go to the gym, I feel things, I feel my body, and it's quite amazing to get back to feeling the way you're supposed to.
I love it.
Yeah,
Great advice. And it's true, right? It takes a lot of time. We didn't get to where we're at just overnight. It took time. So
yeah.
going back a different direction to help us, it's the same way. Bryon, again, man, thank you for
Hey,
your
thank
time.
you.
This
Appreciate
this
it.
was a cool way of doing
Yeah.
doing the show, meeting here at High Point Coffee in West Jordan. Steve, thank you for having this room to be able to hold and be able to come in here and do this show. And again, thank you so
Got my
much for your
therapy in
time. And
with you.
hey,
Appreciate you
it's my
listening
my
to it.
therapy too, buddy.
Yeah.
Seriously, it is. I
Thank
learn
you.
from my guests just as
Uh,
much. So
hey, thank you.
yeah,
Appreciate that.
absolutely. Well, again, thank you, Emergo Academy, for being our sponsor. Greatly appreciated. Again, guys, check it out. If you guys don't want to be a crisis and recovery coach, or even if you do, check out emergoacademy.com. Dave and Susan, they're phenomenal. They've been doing this for a lot of years. They actually have a book called Actualize Recovery. Check it out on Amazon. It's a best-selling book. It is a really, really good book. Talks about how the brain works and how it fires, and really starts helping you with your life. I also want to say thank you to all our listeners, all our guests, our future guests. Guys, this show wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you. We're going to leave you with this as we do at the end of every show. Remember, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, and recovery is giving up one thing for everything. We're out.